49ers Ultimate Report. This is John J., your 49ers reporter, opinionist, analyst, and die-hard fan. We have a great show, and I mean, we have a really, really great show. But before we jump into the episode, I want to give a major shout out to the 49er fans who have helped me throughout this entire journey, getting to know all your great, 49er fans, all the great guests on. And we have a great guest on today. For those who live in the Bay Area, you already know him. You've probably been watching him for a long, long time. But if you are some of these 49er fans who live outside the Bay Area, in Southern California or other parts of the United States, this guy, when I was a kid, I wanted to be like him. I wanted to, do what he did. Let me give you a quick intro, just like I always do. So, first of all, this guy, he currently works at the current Bay Area CBS channel, which is KPIX Channel 5. He spent many years at another channel called KRON 4 News. I found out that he's won 3 Emmy Award winner Best Sportscaster. So that's pretty cool. Like I said, this guy is really, like I said, he's legit. Like I said to all you guys on my social media. He's also in the NorCal Silver Circle Hall of Fame. Like I said, this guy, he has a big resume. Hopefully one day I can be like him in the future. Let's bring him in. How are you doing, Vern? How are you doing?
All right. And hello, 49er Empire. Good to have you and the fans outside of the Bay Area join us right here on the John Jay Show.
Yes. Thank you very much. And like I said, for those who don't, know, like I said, here in the Bay Area, we have several sports. I mean, just many news networks. And like I said, I've watched this guy. I think, like I said, there's a lot of Bay Area fans who know who you are, but there's a lot of people who are getting to see you for the first time because they don't have, KPIX where they're from. So before we start off, let them know who you are, how long you've been covering sports. This is your moment.
All right. Well, I've been covering sports longer than a lot of these viewers have even been alive. I started doing TV back east right out of college, went to the University of Virginia, started April 13th, 1985 at an ABC affiliate in Richmond, Virginia. And I had a dream of being a TV sports guy. I didn't want to be a doctor, I didn't want to be a lawyer, I want to be a finance guy, TV local sports guy. And so that's what I did. I just dove into that. Story short, I land here in the San Francisco market from Baltimore, and I came out here with a 3-year contract and a 3-year plan to work at KRON 4. And my first Christmas, John, 1990, I'm living on Fillmore Street in Pacific Heights, and I'm walking up and down Fillmore in shorts and a T-shirt. And I said to myself, man, if I was still back in Baltimore, I'd be shoveling snow, de-icing my windshield. I'd be throwing my underwear under the electric blanket while I showered. Well, I didn't have to do any of that. So I stuck around, and then put in 23 years at KRON working with Gary Radnich, but we had a good thing going. And then kind of the business side just kind of seeped into it. I really won't get into it much, but in June of 2012, right after the U.S. Open at the Olympic Club, I made an exit from KRON with Gary's blessing and started over across the street at Channel 5, which is where I have been ever since. And I've been fortunate to work with great people, great staff, great support, and I leaned on each and every one of them for now 4 sports Emmys in a row. So I gotta go for one for the thumb now to make it 5. So we'll see what happens as things unfold. So that's like a little thumbnail sketch. But John, I don't know if you back me up on this one, but how fortunate is it for us to live in the market where we have the all-time home run king, the all-time touchdowns leader, the single season and career stolen base leader, the 3-point champion. We just have so much around us, and I just hope that the viewers out there that live in the Bay Area just really kind of appreciate and embrace it, because it's, although those things I just mentioned, you can never take them away, but I just don't take any of this for granted. There's only a few of these sports jobs here in this market, and I'm just glad to have one of them.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Like growing up in the Bay Area, we have the Warriors, the Giants, the A's, the 49ers. Too bad the Raiders are not here no more, but we had the Raiders for many years as well. We were spoiled with so many Bay Area sports teams. So like I agree with you. Growing up in the Bay Area, like there was always, like if you love basketball, you had the Warriors. If you love football, you had two teams. Now we still have the 49ers. Too bad, not in Candlestick Park, but they're still in the Bay Area. We have two baseball teams. So, and we even have a hockey team, like the San Jose Sharks.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And of
let
course,
me just, hey John, let me just jump in. Let me make a point on the Raiders, because we get a lot of emails and a lot of phone calls about this, wondering why Channel 5 continues to carry the Raider games even though they are in Las Vegas. And I'll tell you why right now. If you grew up here in the Bay Area, you know the long-standing history of the Oakland Raiders. They've just been here forever, since 1960. Okay, so big following, deep roots in the Bay Area. And the company that owns us, CBS, they recognize that, and they know that the fan base is enormous. So even when they left the Bay Area the first time and went to Los Angeles, KRON continued to carry the Raider games, even though they were in Los Angeles, because of the tremendous following that they have. Raiders come back, great. And then business being business, Raiders go to Vegas. So CBS, our governing body, tells us we must still carry the Raider games, because believe it or not, the following of the Raider Nation is just so passionate and so deep still here in the Bay Area. We have to still carry the games.
Mm-hmm.
The underlining thing about that is CBS has the AFC contract. Mm-hmm. So when the Raiders are especially playing at home, we have to carry the games, unless the NFC team is the visiting team, and then usually the visiting team dictates. But that we're just getting, I'm just peeling too much of the onion back. But I just wanted to explain why we still carry the game, although there's have that game as well, a 125 local kick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. My best friend since I was a little kid, 8 years old. We grew up together in the same neighborhood. He was a huge Raider fan, and yeah, like the Raiders, even while they're not here, he still watches the game. He was very glad that while they're in Las Vegas, like I said, and even though I'm not a huge Raider fan, I'm still glad that they still showed the games for all the Raider fans who are still here. It's sad that they're not here no more, but like I said, it was a great rivalry. The Bridge, the 49ers and the Raiders, it was a great rivalry. So yeah, I truly agree with that.
Yeah, just to show you just how much the Raiders resonate, you can go to, whether it's SFO or the Oakland airport, say like the Saturday before a game, and all of these gates are filled with Raider fans on the way to travel to wherever the Raiders are playing. That's how much this team still means to the Bay Area. And I think the emails that we get complaining the fact that we still carry them, A, they didn't grow up here. B, they're so new to the Bay Area, they just don't understand.
Yeah, that is that is really true for those who have lived here for so long. No matter where they are, when they were in LA, people still watched it. So yeah, yep. That's 100% true. Yeah, I want to say hello to some of my viewers who are always. I want to say what's up to this guy. He's from Fresno, California. He's a diehard Raider fan. Too bad he roots for the Lakers, but his name is CG. He said, should be a good one. And that is true, CG. This is J Mouse. He says, let's go. And then he has a lot of things to say. He said, I know Vern Glenn. I see him on KPIX 5.
All right, Jay. Love it.
Yeah, Vern Glenn is the dude that hosts after the game show. After the show, the game show.
It's called the fifth quarter post game show. In fact, I do it with Lorenzo Neal, who played for Fresno State collegiately,
Yeah.
So Lo and I, we'll do the show after the Niners-Bengals game.
Yeah. J Mouse also said we have Bay Area legends like Buster Posey, Steph Curry, Jerry Rice, Steve Young, and Joe Cool. That's what he
Oh
calls
yeah,
you.
Joe Montana. Yep.
Yeah. This is my Seahawks. My fan.
Oh,
I know he's very happy that they won, but I'm not. And he says, "What's up?" And then of course, J Mouse says, "Vern Glenn, did you think Buster Posey has a chance of returning to the Giants?"
He's retired, man. He's moved on.
Yeah, this guy really likes Buster Posey. He really likes.
In fact, that they're going to move back to Georgia.
Yeah, 100%. So let's get to know you a little bit more personal.
Sure.
Because I know you have a lot of stories you want to tell us. So we have a 3-part question. You can answer them one at a time, or you can answer them all together. So basically, where are you originally from?
For sure.
Yeah. Also, what was the reason you wanted to cover sports, and who were like mentors who helped you when you entered the business? So you can answer 3 parts,
Sure.
or you can answer all the questions at once.
Okay, I grew up in Richmond, Virginia, 3,000 miles away. Virginia, it is the capital of the state of Virginia. Born and raised, my mom was from Virginia. My dad was from Baltimore, and so through his influence, I became a Baltimore Colts, Baltimore Bullets at the time, and a Baltimore Orioles fan growing up. Now, few things happened. The Baltimore Bullets, which was the NBA team, they moved to Washington, D.C., and now they're called the Washington Wizards. The Baltimore Colts moved to Indianapolis, and so those two teams left. But the Baltimore Colts, that was the last team that I was really kind of, I want to say, passionate about. I did kind of follow the Houston Oilers a little bit after that, but what happened? Houston Oilers left, and they moved to become the Tennessee Titans. So I have no luck as far as like following teams. All I have left are the Baltimore Orioles, who have been struggling for the last few years. As for the reason why I wanted to cover sports, this has been a passion of mine since the 10th grade. I can remember talking about sports, writing about sports, just having sports just on my mind from just like a little kid. And I can remember being in the lunchroom at high school. The headmaster would walk by and he would hear me holding court and talking about something sports related, and he would just go, why don't you talk about academics? And I'd be like, yeah, come on. But I just kept on going, and once I figured it out, hey, this was for me. That was my total focus. I graduated in 1980. I went to University of Virginia. I majored in broadcast journalism, and once I graduated in May of 1984, I just pounded the pavement, knocked on doors. We didn't have tech like we have today, and just tried to pretty much meet, greet, try to get advice, and just seek whatever opportunities I could find to get into this business. And then one day, a guy by the name of Gil Tyree, I ran into at a ball game. He was the sports guy at the local ABC affiliate, and I asked him if I could just come and just hang out at night, help him out with his newscast, because there was no formal internship program at the time. And he said, yeah, sure. And so I would show up, and I would help him produce his late news using my internship knowledge and experience that I had while working in college. And then what happens in this business, the weekend sports guy left that station to go to a larger market. And so that created an opening, and I auditioned for the job, and I got the job. And so that's and that's why I vividly remember starting April 13th, 1985. So I was there in Richmond, Virginia for a little over 2 years, and I was sending videotapes of my shows to guys that I had interned for, just to kind of get them to critique it. And I sent one particular tape to a guy I interned for who had an agent, and he happened to be in his agent's office, and he held up this tape. He goes, hey, I got some videotape of this kid. What do you think? And so he put the tape in the tape machine, and the agent liked what he saw, and I know I'm signing with Scott. And he gave me the old, almost comic bookish, sign with me, kid, we'll go places. And so I signed with him, he landed me in Baltimore, WBAL, Channel 11, CBS affiliate at the time. And I thought I was going to be in Baltimore forever. And then toward the end of 89, same agent says, hey, I placed some of my clients in the KRON newsroom in San Francisco, and I showed them some of your stuff, and they really liked you. I think they're going to make an offer. Sure enough, offer was made, offer accepted, came out here beginning in 1990, never left.
I know.
Who were my mentors when I entered the sports business? Wow, there were a lot of them. Off the top of my head, a guy named Ken Strayhorn, who I grew up watching myself, and then I later ended up working with. That was kind of a wow. Gil Tyree, who kind of helped me enter this business. These are guys none of you have ever heard of. And so there were a lot of guys along the way in the business that just kind of mentored me, kind of helped shape me. I think the name, I think the name everybody would resonate in this market will be a guy by the name of Gary Radnich, who I was with for 23 years. And Gary had everything. I never talking to Gary first. That's how much he meant to me. When I got the opportunity to go to Channel 5, I went to Gary first, and with his, he said go, and so I came on over and been there ever since.
Yeah, we have a comment from my friend who's from Fresno. He says, "Great stream, John Jay. Thanks very much. I really appreciate this guy. He's also a little content creator on YouTube as well." Yeah, living in the Bay Area, you do get spoiled. Not just the weather, but the atmosphere. I don't know how many cities we have here in little towns, but it's a big place. And like I tell people who I know who don't live in the Bay Area but are big 49er fans, hey, tell us about the Bay Area. And I tell them it's fun. It's fun out here, the weather. And if you move out there, it's hard to leave for whatever the reason. Like, I'm like one of these very few San Franciscans, Bay Area, because I grew up around the Bay Area. I never lived in one place, but San Francisco is where I mostly live, most of my life. So yeah, growing up, living here, especially with the sports teams, it's fun. Like, I've been to many Giants games at Candlestick Park. Many people who are brand new to the Giants forget that they played at Candlestick Park many years ago before they went to now Oracle Park. So yeah, it's fun to live here. 100%, I agree.
I don't know about you. It's still kind of weird for me to drive up 101 and then look to my right and where Candlestick used to be, and there's just nothing there. Isn't that weird?
Yeah, very weird. All right, so we have two questions. First, let's go to James. I said, Vern Glenn, what are your reactions of the Warriors' 21 wins, 4 losses start?
I'll just channel Steve Kerr, who said the other day, hey, it's nice to be back in the spotlight again, because stepping out of it for as long as they did, I mean, it was tough. But hey, the Warriors are as deep a team as I've seen since I've been around, deeper than some of these championship teams. And that team has been built of mostly good character guys who have adopted the system. But here's the important thing, John. Every single one of them is selfless. They share the ball. They work the ball around. They give up minutes. Minutes are very valuable, especially to a star. And they give up minutes for the greater good. And that is why you see a 21-4 record. Also, hey, it's no secret. Hey, when you got Steph Curry, who nobody really thought that much of when he entered the league, just a scrawny little 6'3" guard who could shoot. Nobody saw this coming. Nobody. And now he has just evolved and has sculpted his body and taken care of himself. And I think more than any other figure we've had in the Bay Area, he is the one guy who has changed the game at all levels. Used to be, when you're kids and you're playing like little CYO ball, 3rd, 4th grade, whatever, and the coach would put in like basic plays, pass the ball in, and then pass it 3 times, and then shoot for the little rectangle on the window so it'll go in, pass. Now you show up to a CYO practice, everybody's just jacking shots because they want to be the next Steph Curry, and I've just seen it at all levels, whether it's boys basketball, girls basketball, women's game. The 3-point shot
Mhm.
is it now. It's
Mhm.
not so much the dunk anymore.
Mhm.
It's who can shoot a three and who can be dynamic at it.
Yeah.
And even and here's the cool thing. Say what you want about Steph Curry, but do you know who the all-time leader in NBA history in 3-point percentage?
I'm gonna take a wild guess, but I'm going to say, oh, and three names come up in my brain. I think I'm gonna get it wrong. I'm gonna say probably. I'm gonna go with Steph Curry. I'm gonna go with Steph Curry.
It's a good guess,
Yeah.
but the answer is his coach, Steve Kerr.
Hmm.
Steve Kerr, he still has the all-time NBA record for 3-point percentage.
Hmm.
3-point percentage.
Yeah. Man. Yeah. That was a hard one because I was like, Curry's been shooting the three, but so that was my guess. Yeah.
Yeah, and again, with this 3-point, he's on the verge of becoming the all-time 3-point shots made king. He needs 10, and as we do this show, he's got a game against the 76ers tomorrow. Probably not going to get it 10,
Hmm.
where his brother Seth is playing. So it's probably going to be it could be the Indiana game, or it could be the New York game at Madison Square Garden. Pretty much I guess the big NBA stage, because it is in New York. But he's going to get it in about 500 or so fewer games than it took Ray Allen to do it.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. That is true. Like I remember growing up, I would see before the Warriors were really good because a lot of fans forget the Warriors. They were at the bottom for many years, and at that time you had like players like Tracy McGrady, Vince Carter, Kobe Bryant. Like those who would dunk. It was fantastic. But then Steph Curry comes in and the game changes. So that's true. How he changed the game 100%. But
When I started in this market, Don Nelson was the head coach, and the Warriors, they were good. It was a good, solid team, but they were only good enough to maybe make the first round of the playoffs. But they were a smaller team, played small ball, and they were fun to watch. And these were the days of Tim Hardaway, Chris Mullin, Mitch Richmond, those guys, and then later on, other stars came into play. But when I first started, those guys, those were the stars of the Warriors. And then it just seemed like from mid 1990 till 2007, big drought, and then 2007 hit, and then we had the We Believe team.
yeah, yeah. I want to give a shout out. This guy is a 49er fan all the way out from Wales. I know my community. He's a huge 49er fan. And then I have to agree with this comment. Candlestick Park was a great atmosphere compared to Levi Stadium. He's been to Candlestick Park and Levi's, and he likes the Candlestick Park atmosphere just like me. So I wanted to just read that comment because I truly agree with that 100%.
Ronnie Lott always says that winning is the greatest deodorant.
Mm-hmm.
And if the team continues to win and establish themselves, you will have, I'm not going to say it's ever going to be Candlestick Park atmosphere again, but that winning feel that permeates through a stadium, that electric feel can return again. It's just a little, the fan base economically is different, but the passion can still remain.
Yes. Yeah, the passion, no matter where you are, as I mentioned, 49er fans are everywhere. I remember watching the Jacksonville Jaguars game. Every area that the camera showed was red. I did not see no whatever.
Sure.
Yeah. So I was a little bit shocked. And then there were a lot of videos that were taken of 49er fans just walking in and out of the stadium. I was like, man. So it shows you wherever the 49ers are, it's always a home game. So
yeah, they travel well, and there's a lot of transplanted 49er fans that are nationwide.
Yes. All right. So now I know you have a lot of great moments. What are some of the best moments in Bay Area? Yeah.
Well, first of all, I'd have to say my first World Series, 1990. That was the Reds against the Oakland A's. The A's were swept that year, but it was near and dear to my heart because it is the first major event that I was able to afford to have my dad come out. And I just felt like I was giving back after my mom had done so much for me. This was my chance to kind of give back. So I got him tickets to the World Series game. So that resonates with me.
Mm-hmm.
After that, the 94 49er team, my first Super Bowl, Miami, that January of 1995, where Steve Young lit it up with 6 touchdowns. Jerry Rice had a big game. Again, I was able to get my dad to that game in Miami. That was so special to me. In fact, when I run into some of the old guys from the 94 team, there's just a sparkle that just comes to everybody's eyes because that really was a special team, a dominant team. So those two things stand out. My first Olympic Games, 2000 Summer Olympic Games in Sydney, Australia. I was there for almost a month, and that was fun. Just being with the world's greatest elite athletes and just about every kind of sport that you could think of. My first World Series, 2002, with the Giants, who sadly lost that series to the then Anaheim Angels, and but wow, what an experience to just kind of be in that arena. I can remember in that one, the Giants were ahead, obviously 5-3. Russ Ortiz was pitching great. Dusty Baker comes out, takes the ball, gives Russ Ortiz the ball because the Giants were 6 defensive outs away from winning the World Series. So I'm standing outside of the Giants locker room. They brought the champagne in. I'm standing next to Willie Mays. And I turn to Willie and I go, "Hey, Willie, you want to do a little something on camera? Just to kind of get your thoughts, on this thing that's about to happen." And Willie looks to me and says, "Pee Wee," that was his pet name for me, "let's just wait. I don't want to jinx anything." Like, yeah, okay. Anyway, rug pulled out from the Giants. Angels win the game. The clubhouse guys quickly champion out of the Giants clubhouse, take down all the tarp, all that kind of stuff, and then they had a game 7, and then the Angels were able to win that game. Still, that was a special time for me. So my first Stanley Cup. If you guys have never been to a hockey game, you go to a high stakes hockey game like that. There's an electricity through that building, very much like an NFL playoff game that you feel. I mean, that's there is nothing like. I think of the big 4. You want to get the fan experience, you go to a hockey game because it is in your face for 3 periods, 20 minutes a period. So it's I've just had great fortune to experience so much in my life. All-star games, be it baseball, NBA, it's just been great.
We have 2 questions. He says, Vern Glenn, how much will the Niners pay Lake Tomlins this offseason? He's a free agent. I don't know that question. That's
again, it gets to that's a John Lynch question to answer. Because whether it has whatever, we're all dealing with budgets and we're all dealing with budget free agent. Said very valuable offensive lineman. You can't get too many, although linemen, they are the smartest guys on the team. It's tough to get the good ones, and especially ones that are already in your system and know the scheme and know the plays and just kind of know how it is. It's tough to let them go. I believe that the 49ers are going to make a good, fair offer to him, and hopefully he can stick around. But more than Lake and Tomlinson, there's a lot more free agents out. 49ers are going to have to pay attention to if they want to remain relevant. Right now they're trending up a little bit. I know they've lost a few games, and critical games, but I think between John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan, they'll make the right decisions with respect to their roster.
Yeah. So my
Shanahan
friend
more plays for you check. Hurdles 5 players at the same time. How about that play, huh? Yeah. Juszczyk is, boy, he's great out of the backfield, and he's great. Hey, if you need a yard, he'll give you a yard. But if you need a key block between him and George Kittle, boy, they could just lay you out and create space for their backs. And they're really going to need him this weekend because, as you know, the 49ers are thin at running back. It's good to see that although we may not see Deebo Samuel, Elijah Mitchell is still in concussion protocol,
Yeah.
but the Niners, they've got some bodies that can run the play. I mean, I do like Jeff Wilson Jr. I like him to possibly start on Sunday. I mean, a serviceable back that can just do whatever they tell him to do. But I think between him and JaMychal Hasty, who's the only other true like absolutely healthy back,
Mm-hmm.
they're going to have to carry the rock and shoulder the load, because the 49ers are going to have to control the line of scrimmage and be able to run that football. And what's going to be it's going to be cold. We're talking about a 4:20 Eastern kickoff in Cincinnati. Right, just right on the water like that. It's gonna be cold, man. Yeah. It's really gonna be cold, and they're gonna have to contain a gunslinger like Joe Burrow, who is a pure passing thing to watch.
Yeah, Joe Burrow. I remember I was watching the game last week, and I think he broke his pinky, and there was
the pinky finger on his throwing hand. Yep.
And I saw him at one play had to throw the ball with his left hand because even when he hanged the ball off, I've been told that he's been practicing. He's not getting a lot of pain, but if you played any sports, injuries, that's not really fun. So we'll see how he performs. How he performs with that injury. But yeah, I truly agree, and I've been saying it that there's always been a lot of mixed reactions on talking about the 49ers with what is the method to win the game. Basically, run the football, play action, and as long as we follow those very simple steps, the Niners are going to be going down the field. Of course, a lot of people they give the quarterback. It doesn't matter because we've had great quarterbacks: Joe Montana, Steve Young, and Jimmy Garoppolo. He's been forced to try to be that guy, and that's why we drafted Trey Lance. But I feel that Jimmy has been dealing with this pressure very well. Of course, he knows that it's a business. So if he doesn't play well, there's the young kid back there. So I wanted to get your opinions and your thoughts about this situation that the Niners are basically going with Jimmy Garoppolo for this season and developing Trey.
Well, to know Kyle Shanahan, the thing that's really most important to him is the NFL veterans. He's very veteran centric, so to speak. It's not really a word, but I just made it up. So for the ones that he trusts that give him the best chance to win, he's going to go with the veteran, and that is Jimmy Garoppolo. I know the last year paying him is $20 million, and I know if I was writing those checks, I'd want him to play, but Garoppolo at this point does give you the best chance to win. I mean, and for as long as that happens, they're going to continue to send him out there. Do they have packages for Trey Lance? Sure, but Lance, they're bringing him on slowly. They're very sensitive about his meniscus or whatever, and they're not going to put him out there until they're ready to put him out there. And I think it's just going to be Jimmy directing that offense. If they can run the football, again, getting back to controlling the line of scrimmage, then that takes the pressure off of Jimmy of having to throw it 20, 25 times in a game. If he's throwing it that much, then the 49ers are having an inability to run the football. That's why it's so important for them. So Jimmy's fine. I know he's not everybody's favorite. He's whoever was under center was never going to be Joe Montana and was never going to be Steve Young. And we in the Bay Area, we've been spoiled by those two. But you know what? They threw interceptions too. They lost games too. But it's just nobody wants to remember that. Nobody wants to talk about that. And so, but the quarterback, it's the most visible position on the field. And so whether he is successful or fails, people are just going to be passionate one way or the other for that. So now, so the Niners won 3 straight. They lost to Seattle. So now here's a chance for another get-right game against the Cincinnati Bengal team. This is, so to speak, this is kind of the Niners' 17th game and a 17th game schedule. Everybody got an extra game. So this is the extra game for the 49ers, this one AFC North team. But but in the remaining games, I think the Niners have game
Um, looks like our guest, I think he froze for a moment, so I'm gonna go read some of the questions. Hopefully everything's okay on his part. Let's see. So I did not read this question. J Mouse says we had Barry Bonds and still lost to the Los Angeles Angels. Yep, that is true, true, true. Gavin says DJ Jones is going to want to get paid too. Yep. There's a lot of players this offseason the 49ers have to deal with. So and I like DJ Jones. I like DJ Jones. I'm not sure what he's going to ask for. And Gavin says we lost Vern Glenn. Oh, yeah, he is back. He is back.
Back.
Yeah.
Yeah. But my last point, I was just going on this little diatribe on what the Niners have to do, and I just wanted to get your opinion on that.
For the 49ers, I've watched many 49er games, so I go by experience. Once we lost to Seattle, I was not, sad like most fans thought, because Seattle, they have our number. When Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll, they know us very well. So now we're going to play the Cincinnati Bengals. They're a tough task. They're having a decent year. I did not know they're going to be 7-5. Entering this game, and if we can get a victory on the road against the Bengals, and then you look at the rest of the schedules, we have the Falcons, the Texans, the Titans, and then we finished up with the Los Angeles Rams. So there's still a possibility for the 49ers that if we play good football, eliminate the mistakes, the Niners can finish up with a winning record. I don't do predictions, but I hope the Niners. I just hope the Niners finish up strong. That's what I hope. That's what I hope for. All right. Let's see. All right. I apologize. What's going on? You know how StreamYard is. He will be back in a little bit. Let's continue to read some of the questions. What's Vern's thoughts on the 49ers special teams? Should Hightower be on the hot seat? We'll get his response with that. What's Vern's secret to success? What his advice for someone trying to emulate the steps he has taken and build a successful media career? Yeah, we'll ask him. What's up to my boy, my friend Steezy A. Smith? Of course, you guys already know who he is. He's the Seattle Seahawks content creators. All right. So thanks for hopping in. Gavin says, is Ayuk really a kickoff returner? My opinion, he's not. My opinion, he is not a kickoff returner, but we've been trying to find a kickoff returner. So, David, what is up, David? How are you doing? Vern is frozen. Yeah, I apologize, everybody, that this interview is not going smoothly. So it is my responsibility. But thanks very much, David, for hopping on. David says Hightower should be on the hot seat. So yeah, I really, really appreciate you guys for all your great comments. Yeah, we had Vern Glenn for a moment. For those who know, sometimes StreamYard is a little bit glitchy. I hope he returns. Feel free to ask any questions, and here he is.
Okay, sorry about that.
That's all right. Yeah.
The point being, we were getting on it. The Niners have 6 wins. If they get 4 more, I think 10. I'm good with 10 wins.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
10. I think 10-7 gets them in.
Yeah. All right. So we had a few questions. So.
Oh, somebody going after Hightower. Yeah. Hightower should be on the hot seat.
Yeah. So yeah, let's go back to that question. So Gavin says, should Hightower be on the hot seat? And David also is wondering the same thing.
Well, sure. I mean, you can't be giving up a 73-yard fake punt. I mean, you just can't. But I mean, but there's something about that Seattle team. Seattle's like Seattle, the Niners. It's like that. it's like that ex-girlfriend that just knows the buttons to push, and just knows your weaknesses, and you just go to pieces, and you just can't recover. I mean, the Niners have one win against Seattle since what, 2014, and that just can't. I mean, that just can't be. So again, fluky stuff like that. But then there was other fluky stuff that happened. I mean, the missed pass interference call in the end zone on Trent Sherfield, guys all over him, no call. What? And so if that correct call is made, maybe we're talking about a different game, because the Niners did have a chance, despite everything that happened. They had a chance to win that one, but still, there's the old unwritten 24-hour rule. Whether you win or lose, you have to kind of soak it in and just deal with it for 24 hours, and then after the game, then it's on to the next team. So the Niners were on to Cincinnati on Tuesday. So that has to be their focus, because they put the game plan in on Wednesday, and then they refine it on Thursday. They have a walkthrough on Friday, and then they get on a plane. They have another walkthrough on Saturday, and then Sunday it's the game.
Yeah. So Gavin wants to know what are some advice for someone who wants to enter in the media business, by using your experience?
John, we were just talking about off camera before we started the show. Out there, you have more tech, more resources than you've ever had before to start a brand, get your brand out there, get shows like this, it can be done, and it can be done sort of kind of on the cheap too. And you get your own YouTube page, get in front of a microphone, and then start laying down your takes, have a guest on, and you don't even have to use video anymore, because sometimes you got to pay copyright fee to be able to use that video, but you can have a voice, and you can get yourself out there. When I started, we didn't have any of that. So there was I don't want to say it was a hunger there, but there was an urgency there to try and get in, because even now, supply is greater than demand as far as getting into this business. Next thing you have to figure out is, well, what's the end game here? Do you want to be a local TV guy like me? Do you want to be maybe a network guy? Do you want to be play-by-play? Do you want to be a producer? Do you, and then there's the time sacrifice too. This happens all the time, John. People come up to me and go, "Hey, man, I want to do what you're doing." Okay, all right. Yeah, how about a little job shadow? Hey, you can come up with me on a story. Oh, yeah, great. Sure, yeah. Okay, be at the station 9 o'clock tomorrow. Oh, in the morning? Yeah, because the story's at 10:30. Oh, well, my mom's got this thing, and I can't make it. Well, then you just don't want it enough. Sacrifices have to be made. If you're entering my business on the local TV side, network or whatever, say goodbye to your weekends and say goodbye to your holidays. That's when the sports hits. Your traditional 2 weeks family vacation in the summer, your 2-week holiday vacation at Christmas time, throw that out the window, because it is gone. You're going to work Thanksgiving. You're going to work Christmas Day. I'm working Christmas Day. I'm working Christmas Eve. I mean, you're not going to work a traditional Monday through Friday weekends off kind of schedule. It's just not going to happen. And the hours are going to be crazy. They're going to be late night, overnight, early morning. I mean, it's not. If you want a 9 to 5, if you want a vanilla 9 to 5 schedule, working Monday through Friday with your weekends off, this is not the job for you. I repeat, this is not for you. This business is not. Just walk away and find something else, because that is the first thing you have to get your mind in. And if you do get in this business and you're with your partner, they're going to have to understand that too. Particularly if your partner is not in the business. Just make sure whether he or she knows what they're signing up for, because I am always gone, and even when I'm home, I'm thinking about the job. It's on my. You can never unplug. Never unplug. That said, once you're in this business, treat people the way you want to be treated. Don't walk around like you don't stink. Do not. There's no. Check all egos at the door.
Yes.
Because you can think you're high and mighty, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how good you are.
Mm-hmm.
If management comes in and opens the books and says firm's making too much money, what are you going to do about it? Well,
Mm-hmm.
guess what happens? I get called in, and if I don't accept a cut, you're gone. And it's and I'm going to go out and get John Jay. So that's the way this. It doesn't matter who you are. You could be gone tomorrow, and
Yep.
it may and it may not even be your fault. So there has to be some flexibility that comes into play, particularly in this business today.
Yep.
Now, then there's the economics of it.
Mm-hmm.
How are you going to eat? How are you going to pay your bills? How are you going to pay the electric bill? Where are you going to live? John will tell you it's not cheap to live here.
Yep.
So you got to figure that out.
Yep.
Because the days of the seven-figure salary in this business are long gone. They've been gone for 20 years. So just those are just things to kind of realistically think about.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you may have a passion like me and like John had for wanting to do this business, but numbers don't lie. You have to be able to understand the sacrifices and understand the economics of it as well.
Yeah.
And if you can live within your means, great.
Yep.
But this is not the kind of job to live beyond your means.
Yep. 100% true. I actually had this conversation with other content creators. I'm so glad that you actually said this. Of course, living in the Bay Area is not cheap. You know,
No.
when Trey Lance and all the rookies came here, they had to be roommates because, you know, they cannot afford the properties. So that's a reminder that a lot of these players that we drafted are not native to California. So that's the true nature.
Yeah, that's one of the great misconceptions, John, of the NFL player. I think most people across the board just think, hey, if you're in the NFL, you're rich. Well, you're not rich because, yeah, quarterbacks make a high salary. Some of your top backs make a high salary. Maybe wide receivers, maybe linebackers, left tackles. Yeah, sure. But if you're on the taxi squad, if you're the eighth lineman on the team, if you're special teams, and you're living in California, you got to pay those taxes. And at the end of the day, when you look at the net take-home pay, it may not be as high as you think. So again, you got to live within your means. And if you are making too much, manager's going to call you in anyway to try to restructure your contract. They'll go, yeah, we're going to restructure your deal. We're gonna backload your contract. So yeah, I know you got $30 million coming to you, but we'll just put that in the fourth year. Well, what happens after the third year? You get hurt and they cut you. Bye-bye, the $30 million, it's gone.
Yep. And
that's what people don't realize. It's just the business of athletics. It can be a harsh reality.
Yeah,
that's why I say I'm very ball player. I'm very pro ball player. Get what you can get while you can. I don't care if you're playing for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Get what you get. Get out of the sport, whatever you put into it, and then if you're lucky enough and have your health, you can walk away.
Yeah, 100% true. And that's one thing about some of these, you know, newer fans. They look at the money. They don't forget how NFL contracts are structured. And one good example, and I'm going to bring this up because I'm very glad you brought that up. Trent Williams is basically technically the highest paid left tackle. But the first 3 years, he's making less than $20 million on his base salary. They have basically put so many incentives that if, you know, Trent Williams does not, you know, he'll get his base salary. So in the next 3 seasons, so this year, the next year, and the following year, he's making about $28 million in base salary, which is not much, but there's so many, like, you know, team, you know, workouts, you know, you got to pass certain physicals, you got to do this, you got to do all that. And if he does that, then he'll get all the money. Then year 4, he's actually going to be making $32 million in those final 3 years. So depending on what happens to Trent Williams, like as you mentioned, he may not see that money. So that's one thing that a lot of fans forget.
And there's family obligations too. We're all products of the environment that we grew up in. I don't know Trent Williams personally, but let's just pick XYZ ball player making, you know, a very large income. Well, you know, what about the guy's family? What about the guy's extended family? What if what if you want to buy your mom a home? What if all that money's got to come from somewhere?
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't have a good financial advisor to help you stock some of that money away, invest some of that money, when it's over, and those game checks stop, it can be a rude awakening.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of failed marriages. There's a lot of divorces that happen when the game checks stop.
Yep.
So again, you get what you can get. Be smart with it. Yeah, you're playing a kid's game, but it's a business, big time.
100%. 100% true. So let's talk about some of the players. Let's start off with Nick Bosa. Jay has a question. He says, "Is Nick Bosa the defensive end, the best defensive end in the NFL?"
He has worked his way up. He's got to be top 3 to 5, and with 14 sacks that he's got, he's he's licking his chops to go after his buddy Joe Burrow. They actually played college football together at Ohio State before Burrow transferred to LSU. In fact, they play video games together. Even now, I mean, they play Halo, Battlefront, all that kind of stuff. They play all that together, and so Burrow has said more than a few times that he can't wait to sack his buddy Joe Burrow on the field. So he's going to be licking his chops for that. And here's something I didn't know until I found out this morning. Did you know that Nick Bosa has the freedom to line up wherever he wants on either side of the ball?
Yeah.
On either side. I didn't know. I didn't realize that. So I'm not saying everybody knows, but the scouting report on Joe Burrow is he likes to go to his right, does not like to go to his left. And so that said, and Nick probably knows it, he's going to line up. They're going to give him the best chance to beat his man to get to Joe Burrow.
Yeah. I don't. One thing that I've been analyzing on the film, that I see Nick Bosa on the other side, and I've seen him, rotating. I was wondering why were they doing that? Now that makes a lot more sense with Nick Bosa. Let's also talk about Elijah Mitchell and Deebo Samuel. Yeah, just what are your thoughts on these two players?
Elijah Mitchell reminds me of, in a kind of a low key way, of Frank Gore. Gore came in and joined the team, and there were other high priced guys that were on the team that were at the time on a higher depth chart than Frank when he first started with the Niners. But the way he went about his business in practice, the work ethic, the way he could just kind of be Frank Gore, it really kind of the teammates were just immediately like, "Whoa, man, look at Frank." And now now look at him. He's in his mid-30s and he can still play. And so Mitchell, there's something about being a third round or later draft pick. When you come in, there's almost a challenge that you put upon yourself to really kind of prove the other guys wrong. To show that maybe you should have been drafted higher. So Elijah Mitchell came in hungry, and he outperformed Trey Sermon on the depth chart. And so when it came time for his opportunity, he took it. And Elijah Mitchell, hey, he's playing like a boss, is he not? So we'll see. They're watching closely this concussion protocol. I just on the fact that he didn't practice at all this week lets me know that he's probably not going to play in Sunday's game, and so they'll try and get over without him. Same with Deebo Samuel. I don't think they're going to play him either. They might, but I doubt it. But I think Elijah Mitchell's a star. I mean, he's just a product of somebody that came in focused, hungry enough, and made the most of his opportunities when he got it, and he's rewarded by being the featured back.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, one thing about Elijah Mitchell, and I always forget the name of the running back coach of the 49ers. When he went to scout him, when the scouts went out there, the dude had, like a Frank Gore, like as you mentioned, a Frank Gore type of body with that speed. And Kyle likes the speed, the speed players. That's why we got Brandon Ayuk. He's fast. We got Deebo Samuel. He's fast. And then of course you have this guy Elijah Mitchell, and that's why we've had Raheem Mostert for so long, is because of the speed. And I think Kyle's offense, as I've always said, is predicated on the speed. That's why Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't have to do much. He throws the ball, and his receivers are going to use the speed. So Elijah Mitchell, unfortunately, in these last several years, the Niners are always having injuries, which is one thing in sports that happens a lot. But we've been getting a lot of frequent injuries. But when these guys are healthy, as I've said it to many other fan bases, this team is dangerous when we have a healthy everything. And I strongly, agree with that statement. Yeah.
Yeah, Kyle Shanahan demands just a few things. He wants you to run with a purpose, hit the hole, hit it hard, bounce outside, and his plays are designed to do that. If you put the ball on the ground, he's not going to trust you.
Mm-hmm.
Just ask Trey Sermon, and
Yep.
and so I mean, everybody was ready for Raheem Mostert to really kind of shine. I mean, he was voted the team captain. Everything was just looking up, and then unfortunately he got hurt, and he elected to have that surgery. This was his last year. He's going to be a free agent after this year anyway. But Elijah Mitchell's a star. I mean, and this is an offense that's designed where if you are fast and can be shifty and really hit the hole hard, you can be successful in this scheme of offense for Kyle Shanahan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100% true. What about Deebo Samuel? I can't believe he's been our first 1,000-yard receiver in quite some time. I like him. I've heard some of the fan base a little bit critical, saying maybe he shouldn't be on this team. But I've always defended him. What have you seen this year of Deebo Samuel?
Well, first of all, I'd like to find the fan that thinks now that he shouldn't be on the team. I think he's their most dangerous offensive threat, and so when he's on the field, I mean he changes the game because he runs, not only does he run hard, he just runs downhill, and he looks for contact too. He's not going to avoid a man. He wants to run right through him. He's just got that, I want to call it tremendous lowers. I mean, that low gravity, that he's got that big body from the waist down. And so he's a hard man to stop. Now, I know he would rather run routes as a receiver because that is his natural position. But Kyle Shanahan knows one thing. If he's got design plays where he can run Deebo Samuel out of the backfield, nobody can stop it, he's just going to keep on coming with it until you can stop it. Mm-hmm. And they can go. You know how big Kyle Shanahan's playbook is. It's about this. Mm-hmm. It's about this thick. How much of his playbook have we seen? Maybe about that much.
Yep.
He's got so many plays that we haven't even seen. I just would like to see him open it up every now and then, and maybe before the end of the season we will see it.
All right. So my boy Gavin has two questions. He says, does Vern have a solution to our problem at cornerback?
boy, man, I wish I did. This is another one. This is another one of these topics where Shanahan always goes with the veteran to put him back there. Mm-hmm. And that's why you see the guys back there that are back there. I know there's a cry to maybe get Ambry Thomas out there and some of the younger guys in there. You'll probably see K'Wan Williams in the slot on Sunday, but the corners, that's just that I'm sure even Shanahan just kind of scratches his head a little bit, just going, boy, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do about that? But they're just gonna go with what they got and see what happens. And they just have to just kind of and another point is made as far as the cornerbacks is they're saying it's a different game now, and that the referees are really calling it. If they seem to think if you breathe on a guy, you're going to get a flag, mm-hmm. and maybe that's true. I mean, if they're going to do that, just call it both ways, though. That's what I'd like to see.
Yeah. Also, there was a little story on one of the 49ers community says that John York showed up at training camp, a turning point of the season. So I'm not sure if you know about that.
John, well, I don't really, I don't really, I don't really think that makes a difference one way or the other. I mean, it's the ownership group, and when they show up, yeah, I mean, everybody has a little starch to their step when their boss shows up,
Mm-hmm.
but the guy that signs the checks. But I think I would be more, I would be more on notice if I saw John Lynch showing up and watch
Mm-hmm.
from the sidelines,
Yeah.
because Lynch and Shanahan, those are the guys that buy the groceries. Those are the
Mm-hmm.
guys that buy the players, put them out there on the field. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't be so concerned if I saw York on the field or not.
Yeah. We were 2-5 when John York showed up, and in my opinion, like he's asked me this question many times. When you're an owner of the team, you can show up to a practice, you can show up to the game. It doesn't really mean anything, overall. But some fans thought, it meant something. I personally don't believe, that it means anything. That's just my.
John's not gonna show up at a practice and look at look at John Jay and go, not, he's not running the routes like I want. Cut him. No, it's not that. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah, I know. All right, so now let's talk about the game. Like I want to get your thoughts of the game, and then what are things that the 49ers have to do to get the win on Sunday. And I don't know if you want to give a prediction, but I don't do predictions, but I just do, like little.
I suck at predictions.
Yeah.
I'm just I suck at that. I suck at fantasy football. I'm just terrible at that kind of thing. Here's what the Niners have to do, as we talked about before. It's been kind of like the theme of the whole show: control the line of scrimmage. Nick Bosa has to eat a lot. Let him eat. Let him put pressure on Joe Burrow. Force him to his left, not to his right, to extend plays. And also defensively in the secondary, I know that I know that T. Higgins and the rest of those receivers, I know they're dangerous. I know Burrow's a gunslinger. If you give him any room at all, he's just going to let it go. He likes to go downfield. That's why I'm glad Fred Warner is back there. At least he's got the green dot position, calling the defensive play. So Fred Warner will be back there. I want to see Fred Warner. I want to see what he does with Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon's another dangerous threat out of the backfield.
Mm-hmm.
So I would look for that a lot. But I think above all, you must pressure Joe Burrow into making him and forcing him into bad decisions. You do that, you win the football game.
Yeah. 100% true. Like, when I do, when I work with other, content creators from other teams, we do a Saturday show, and we talk about what their teams have to do, and they give 3 to 4 reasons why their teams have to win. On the offensive side of the ball, it's very simple. As long as we have a running back that's able to move, get positive yards, make it simple for the playmakers, make it simple for Jimmy Garoppolo, the offense is going to move down the field. On the defensive side of the ball, we've had issues earlier in the year, stopping the run, but that defensive line is getting better. Arden Key has stepped up. Of course, Nick Bosa, I don't have to say anything about it. He's really good. Fred Warner, he's been a little bit inconsistent this year, but I think
he's heard he did miss time, but I mean, but Fred's going to be back. He had never missed a game in his career up until the Seattle game. So I think Fred will be back. He'll be fine. He'll harness and have control of that defense. And also in a low key, I want to do a shout out to DJ Jones, because I think a big game from DJ Jones would be huge.
Yes.
Offense again. Yeah, I mean, from running the football over 30 times, get George Kittle involved. I mean, that offense is going to be fine. I think the weather is going to play a little bit of a factor. It's going to be windy and it's going to be cold. It's going to be really cold. Yeah. So again, that would put more emphasis on being able to run the football effectively if you can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. As long as the offense, does the game plan that Cal, has, assigned, and the defense, they just do their job, it'll be a competitive game. That's all. I don't do predictions, because when I do predictions, the opposite always happens. So as long as the team does what they're supposed to do, play turnover-free football. Hopefully, we don't have a Seattle game, man. I was upset, that's what our special teams did. But it's any given Sunday. You never know what can happen. So hopefully the Niners can get the victory, get over 500 again, and hopefully end the year strong. Yeah,
I agree.
yeah. All right, now we're coming to the closing time of the show.
Okay, 2-minute warning.
The
All right.
So basically, I started this 2-minute drill, but sometimes it would go about 10 minutes because there was a bunch of questions. So I divided it up so it can go more faster. So basically, we are starting the 2-minute drill. This is the first part. 3 simple, quick questions. Very, very easy. So are you ready? Ready to play?
Okay, coach. Let's do it.
All right, here we go. This is the 2-minute drill. John J asks our guest, very tough. I am just joking. Some very simple questions. And we're going to start off because you've seen so many players. You probably know so many players. Right now, at this moment, let's talk about this moment. Who is your current favorite 49er player on this roster right now?
On this roster,
Yeah.
George Kittle.
Yes.
George Kittle. I like what he does on the field, and I've never had a bad interview with George Kittle. In fact, it leaves me laughing and wanting more. George Kittle is my guy.
Mm-hmm. I want to give a shout out to this guy. This guy is Marcus Scott 49. He also, I've been told that he went to this high school, Archbishop Reardon. So shout out this guy. He also
Go Crusaders. All right.
He basically calls you the legend. So I wanted to give him a quick shout out. All right. You have watched 49ers for many years. You've seen many great players, retired players. Who was your favorite former 49er, retired 49er that you enjoyed covering?
Ronnie Lott.
Mm-hmm.
I could listen to Ronnie Lott read the phone book and just be enamored. Mm-hmm. Ronnie Lott had a presence. He just has leadership written all over him. I've spoken and sought advice from Ronnie Lott on a lot of like non-sports related things. He's just full of wisdom, full of knowledge. I just look up to him. So Ronnie Lott is my guy.
Yep. All right, and then the last question, which is a little bit of a good one. If you were playing in the NFL, what position would you want to play and why?
What position would I want to play? In terms of, all right, let me ask you this: if I wanted to have a long career, I'll go long snapper.
Mm-hmm.
If I can block him and be able to just whip that ball back and be a long snapper, I could play 15 years if I wanted. Long snap, hey, it's not an easy job to fire it back there for the punter. Mm-hmm. So or the guy holding for the field goal. Give me long snapper. I'm good with that.
Yeah. So for me, the first questions, I'm a huge Fred Warner. And the reason why, because his father follows me on my channel, which is so I got to give a shout out to Fred Warner and Fred Warner Sr. I like Brian Young. I was a huge Brian Young fan.
Right. Yep.
He was a really great player. And me, I would play the secondary, safety, corners, because all of my friends, they play in the secondary and they look really fun. When I played, a little bit in high school, I was special teams, so I didn't really get to play on the field a lot. As I mentioned earlier, I played a lot of baseball growing up, but yeah, I really wanted to play secondary. So those are my answers to those questions. Gavin says, who was Vern's favorite person to interview?
Ooh, wow, man. Now that's a tough one to answer because there have been a lot that I've just had a great time sitting down and interviewing. Knowing that my mind could change tomorrow, right now, this show, I'm going to go with Steve Young. Mm-hmm. I probably have interviewed Steve Young 20 times, maybe more. No interview has been the same. He really smart guy, can talk about all kinds of subjects. He's just on it. We have great exchanges. He's just yeah. I'm gonna go with Steve Young.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I remember when I was growing up, I saw the ending career of Steve Young. I wish I was, I wish I was born a little bit, earlier to watch a little bit of those dynasties. But watching him, even in the 90s, we played in so many NFC Championship games. Of course, the Cowboys always had our number, but we finally got that 94. And even after that, we played in, I don't know how many more, but in the 90s, we were the NFC championship contenders. That's how good the 49ers were. And Steve
Sure.
Young, part of those squads. All right, now we're going to move to the second part
Okay.
right here. And again, these are some fun questions. Now we're going to get to know you. So get ready for the second part, the 2-minute drill. Our guest answers very tough questions. I am just joking. Again, here we go. All right, so favorite food. What do you like to eat? What is something you love to eat?
Oof. You mean my go-to?
Yeah, your go-to food. Something that you have to have. You're like, oh, I love this food.
Big fan of the Trader Joe's grilled chicken Caesar salad. Big fan of that. Huge go-to. It's just something. It's $3. You pick it up. I kind of do the poor man's salad toss. I kind of like dump everything in, and then I shake the box, and then I eat it. The chicken Caesar salad from Trader Joe's. Boom, mega go-to.
Yeah.
The other one is a close second. The buffalo chicken wrap, also from Trader Joe's.
Yeah.
Strong.
Yeah.
Strong. But when I'm home and I just have to like fix up like really quick, can't beat the classic peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Oh wow, yeah, classic.
But it has to be preferably Jif creamy. Okay, I have to go creamy. I can't go peanuts. I got to be creamy. It's got to be smooth.
Yeah. All right, and then are you a big fan of desserts? And what is your favorite dessert?
Favorite dessert all time? Key lime pie.
Yeah, I hear a lot of great things about it. When the first time I tried, key lime pie, I was like, oh, now I understand why everyone, likes to eat that. So I don't eat a lot of dessert a lot, but occasionally I will try some. Next question. Do you have like a favorite TV show? What about favorite movies? What do you like to watch?
Favorite movie all time? Gladiator, Russell Crowe. Favorite television show of all time? The original Hawaii Five-0, Steve McGarrett.
Yeah. All right. So Gavin has 2 quick questions. He says, what's the funniest thing to happen to Vern during an interview or in a live show?
Live shot, lots have happened. I've done live shots at Oracle Park outside of a Giants game, and have had drunk women come up, kiss me on the cheek, right in the middle of a show. Oh yeah. One time I was doing a report. This is during Super Bowl week from an event that was going on, and this woman, she must not have realized that we were live, but we're live, and she comes up in the middle of my shot and asked me if I could lower my voice because I'm so loud she can't hear. And so I had to say on the air, I go, hey, here's a nice lady just showing up, asking me to just keep it down during this live shot. Live TV, you never know what can happen.
Yeah.
So those 2 things come to mind on things that have happened.
All right. What are your favorite music? Do you have a favorite band or something? What is Vern Glenn's
lately been a fan of Tom Misch. In fact, he's got a concert coming up to Chase Center coming up next year. Tom Misch is strong. Any kind of I'm really into rap, hip hop. That's kind of like my preference. But then again, I've been known to go. I can go Michael Jackson, 80s. I can be kind of all over the place. So I big fan of music. Love music. Love it.
Yep. Me too. I really do not care what the genre is. There's some genres I'm not a big fan of, but if it's good music, if I save it on my playlist, on my iPod, etc., I really don't care what type of genre is, because music, one thing that I believe in is it's a bit of our soul, because it for some reason, I don't know what music does when you listen to it. It makes us feel a little bit, happy for some reason. So when it comes to good music, it doesn't matter if it's rock and roll, rap, pop, classic, whatever. If it's good music, it's good music.
I am fascinated by the whole process of it. Like I still don't know. Do you come with, is it the lyrics first? is it the beat first?
Mhm.
Is it a mixture of the two? I mean, I interviewed. You ever heard of a band called Souls of Mischief? They're out of Oakland.
So
Their big hit came out in 1993. It was called 93 Till Infinity.
ooh.
If you played it, you would know it.
Mhm.
Anyway, I interviewed one of the founding members of that band, and I asked him, I said, geez, does it really start with a beat? And he just kind of like laughed and said, well, in often cases it does. And then the lyrics will come later. And then there's other guys like J. Cole. Man, he's just a freestyle. I mean, this guy's a genius. He could just bam, just go on and on, just stream of consciousness. I mean, that is a gift. That takes some smarts too.
Yeah.
So I'm just fascinated by it. Speaking of that, I have a program suggestion. It's on. Was it on? It's on. I want to say it's on Apple TV. It's a documentary on the Beatles. It's called Get Back, and it's never before seen behind the scenes highlights of like 10, 14 days in like 1969 of the band kind of collaborating. You get to see how they collaborate and work and shift certain things coming for a concert that they want to play. So it's fascinating stuff if you like the Beatles.
Yeah. Like for me, to answer these quick 4 questions, I'm a big thin crust pizza, New York style. I'm a little bit Italian. I'm a mixture of a lot of things, but I love very thin, simple cheese, no toppings. Not a big dessert guy.
I'm a big thin crust guy too.
Yeah.
Not deep dish, not regular, not doughy, just crunchy thin crust.
Yeah, a Chicago's Bear fan, and he also does contents for the team, and he was giving me a hard time. Oh, you've never tried real pizza, Chicago pizza. So we went back and forth, but that was a fun conversation. But I'm a big thin crust New York style pizza. Like I said, I don't have too many bands or music. I just listen to whatever music in general.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to TV, I'm like I'm a huge historian. Like I love documentaries about history.
Sure, me too.
I like those fictional history. Like those little fiction. That put history stuff together. Things like that. I like some police series. Not too many, but those are the things that I watch. Things like that. So that's my answers to those questions. And the final question of the show, for those in the Bay Area, we know how to find you, but for everybody else, like promote yourself. Tell them where they can find you,
Sure.
on social media, where they can listen to your segments and where they can follow you. This is the bonus questions. Let them know who you are.
Well, first of all, if you want to catch me on Channel 5, my 5-day work week is Sunday through Thursday. That's my 5 days. My off days are Friday and Saturday. So anywhere Sunday through Thursday, you can catch me on any kind of the regular KPIX news, early evening and late newscasts. Sunday, our big show, we have a half-hour Sunday night show called Game Day that airs on Sunday nights at 11:30 after late local news. But then we have like the fifth quarter show, the post-game show that we'll do after this weekend's Niners Bengals game. So that's where you can find me on Channel 5. As far as Instagram, at Vern Glenn, just as simple as that. There's my page. On Twitter, it's Vern KPIX, and on Facebook, I have 2 pages. I have the Vern KPIX Facebook page, and then I have my own page, and that's just simply Vern Glenn. So it's just as simple as that. That's where you can find me. It's where I live. I post away all the time.
And right there for the audience, I put the name up there, so you can just type in Vern Glenn, and you can find him as he said. He's on. You can find him on YouTube on his great clips. Social media, Vern Glenn.
Yeah.
And you can find him, as he says, on Twitter and Facebook as well. Gavin says, John Jay, ask him his favorite game time snack. Oh, I forgot to ask you that.
Ooh, game time snack, boy, man. I'm if you can give me a good crunchy potato skin, I'm all over that.
Mm-hmm.
traditional nachos. I just that I'm not too difficult. Not really. I'm not a wings guy.
Mm-hmm.
Not a wings guy. But just the simple stuff. Chicken
Mm-hmm.
strips, nachos, potato skins. I'm good.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, that's our show today, everybody. Thanks for hopping on. Thanks for all the great questions. Of course, Vern Glenn, as I mentioned, for those who have been following me, I've watched him since I was a kid on KRON 4. For those who know what that channel is in the Bay Area, now he's on KPIX, CBS, Channel 5, which is the channel here in the local Bay Area. But with that said, everybody, this guy right here is John Jay. The guy over here, he's a Bay Area legend, Vern Glenn. If you're in the Bay Area, watch his stuff on KPIX. But with that said, everybody, you guys have a great rest of your Friday. Have a good Saturday. Hopefully, we get the victory on Sunday. But with that said, I am John Jay, and this is the 49ers Ultimate Report. You guys have a good rest of your weekend.
Bye, everybody.